Hello, I'm Liam Harrop with CBC Edmonton, and I'm here to learn about ant keeping with Scot Ellacott,
Hello.
the Ant-Man.
The Ant-Man, I like it.
So first, how did you get into ant keeping?
I started as a young kid, I'd say about 6 or 7 years old. I've always had an innate interest, I guess, for ants especially, but insects in general and just nature. As a kid, I would just collect ants and throw them into a jar. But now for the more professional side of it, you would collect a queen ant or a handful and you raise them and start colonies. And at the point when you actually have a colony, you become an ant keeper.
How do you find your ants?
Within the ant keeping community, we'll just take strolls out in parks kind of around wetland areas, forested areas, the areas where we've seen a lot of the activity, especially around their nests, fallen logs, for their winged reproductives.
And I know this isn't the right time of year for an ant flight,
Right.
but if it was, what would that look like?
You'll just see them swarming, just cascading out of the bush wherever their nest happens to be.
So if we were to collect these ants, how would we do that?
Okay, so typically you wouldn't really collect the worker ants, but I can show you what I would do. So if I did find a queen, anytime I'm out intentionally ant keeping, I'll bring this with me.
This is like quite the ant collecting kit.
Typically the queens are like boogieing, right? So you got to be quick before you lose them. I have some test tubes done up. They do need humidity or they will desiccate quite quickly. Gotta chase them in. Again, we're demonstrating. I wouldn't do this with a worker typically, but we're not going to find queens and then get them in there.
Wow, okay.
This is an aspirator. So we'll take this and use it literally to suck up eggs, larvae of other colonies.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about your own collection.
So I have probably about 20 colonies that are in a decent, I would say, young stage. And I do have 20 or 30 small colonies from this year that I've just caught as single queens. Some of them have a little bit of workers.
Do you think they're generally misunderstood?
I would say so, yes. 90% of the people just see ants and they just immediately want to get rid of them. They don't even think about the benefit they have to their yard, to their garden, to the environment. Proper term for ant nests or enclosures are formicarium. They're really easy to keep. And you see a lot more activity. So there's people that are into beetles and isopods and other obscure creatures. But with the ants, you see this daily activity. You have different case doing different jobs within the nest, and depending on what kind of setup you have, you can see it all happen. They have their little societies and their individual interactions with each other. You could watch them for hours.